Hey guys! Welcome back to Let's Play Xenogears! Last time we had scenes in the chair. We also explained the chair. This time, well, yeah, actually we're not going to really have much time in the chair. This time we have an actual, not really dungeon, but we got some action anyway. But first some dialogue. Take a look at all those wells, all fighting for their own lives. An ugly battle to keep on living. But to me, they were desperately trying to live. This is Elly, of course, talking here. And yeah, it was each person's natural human form. They do this a lot where they seem to be confused about which is the true human form. And what they keep saying now is that the wells are the human form. And as far as I know, later on they contradict that, so take with that what you will. Once we get to a further point in the game, we should have a better idea of what's going on. Some of my former friends from Solaris. They wanted our flesh and blood. They told the haves should share with the have-nots. Basically, haves are still being human, or still appearing human and not mutating. Now, technically, even though we had some of our limiters removed, I think our party members should probably still be susceptible to this mutation, since we all had our limiters removed like the other ones did, but just happened to get lucky enough not to mutate. At least that's my understanding of it from what I've read. I couldn't answer. No matter what I said, it would have sounded like a conceited have speaking. I wanted to relieve their anguish, so I decided to do so. Just like the person in the memory of my dreams, that being, of course, Mother Sophia. But suddenly we have boss time! The Sufouh Mass, a monstrous organism still in the process of amalgamation, broke through the barrier of the life support facilities and stood before us. No longer of human form. Yeah, see how people are disappearing around here? Yeah. Began eating people. Seeking relief. We had to fight it in order to save people, in order to save him. I'm not sure what him is in this case, if it was someone we knew, but yeah, it's just the Sufouh Mass as far as I'm aware. Anyway, we now have time to open the menu and take a look at things. So I'm going to set up a party. You can choose from any of your party members at this point, so go member change, and then open your menu. I've got to unequip stuff from previous party members so that I can put them on new party members. So I'll see you in a moment. Okay, we're back. So I know this is a party I've used a lot in this game, and that's because a lot of the other party members aren't all that great. They have their uses, especially early game, but at this point, Satan is so overpowered with his sword that you want him in basically every fight. I will try to use him sparingly, but he will be part of my final party because he's just that good, you know, at the end of the game. But for now, I actually did something that I don't usually do, but I gave him the speed ring S for 15 speed. Oh yeah, he's almost double as fast as Elly. Elly has long dark coat and the angelic robe to give her as much damage as we can because she's lacking at this point. And even though Faye has less outright damage here, he has better buffs to compensate for that. It really doesn't matter too much who you bring into this fight. Elly is here for storyline reasons, and that's about it. Anyway, I don't think so, but you might be able to save at that screen. I really don't know. Anyway, let's resume. And we have boss time. Now, this boss is somewhat, well, it's actually quite interesting. Start off with a Renki, but it's a Sufouh Mass, and it comes with 4 Sufouhs. Now, so these guys, I think have about 12 to 1500 HP, and they're not immune to anything. This guy is immune to the 4 elements, earth, wind, water, fire. I don't think he's immune to light or dark, but I could be wrong. And if you kill all of his little henchmen, he attacks you with a draining attack that drains all of your HP away, killing you instantly, and of course healing him, which we don't want to do. Now that we have Renki set up, we want to go with Senkei, to speed up on everyone. That will be very helpful, especially for Satan. It's kind of why I have the speed ring on him, so he can get this kind of set up early on. And we want to use Yin power to buff you. So I wouldn't recommend killing all the little guys. They don't do a lot of damage anyway. I'll probably kill the front two, but that's about it. Let's set up Ranky again. And Elly should get a turn here. Now, she has spells. They don't fare very well. Like, every time I've used them, they do like 200 damage to everyone, and of course healing the big guy. So, unfortunately, we can't use our best death blows against him either, so we have to stick with our XX death blows for the highest damage. Not 1,000 damage. Anyway, he can use an attack here. I think that's an elemental one. Yeah. Not really worried about it. And next we want to go with Yamiga. Attack up. I'm not worried about the defense down. I know with phase it doesn't work, but it might not work with his either. I'm not too sure. Anyway, so let's take out the ones in the front. They can be hit by elementals, so let's take him down here. How much damage do we have here? Should be enough. Yep, that's more than enough to take you down. Ow. Now, the Sufouh Mass can grab those little guys and absorb them, so leaving only one of them alive probably isn't the best move, so I'm going to leave the back two alive. Now that I've set up all my buffs, we just go straight to the main part here and just annihilate everybody. And after these two, we'll focus on the big guy and take down the other ones later. Now, these little guys have a chance of dropping either a gold nugget or gold bullion. At this point, we have way better ways of doing money, so I wouldn't do the fight over and over again or anything like that. So let's go here, and we're going to go with this one, since it's the most damage we can do if it's non-elemental. That's a pretty cool looking one. Yeah, Satan is just so buff at this point. He does so much more damage than anyone else. It's ridiculous how powerful he is. It's strange how many people don't have a weapon in this game, though. Faye doesn't have a weapon, Satan doesn't have a weapon for more than half the game, Emeralda doesn't have a weapon, Rico doesn't have a weapon. Very few people seem to have weapons in this game. But yeah, this boss fight isn't all that difficult if you take down the big guy before all the little guys have been killed. If not, like I said, he can one-shot you. He's quite slow, so he doesn't do it very often, but his corpse does stay on the field, which kind of obscures one of them. So let's end these guys here. And that's pretty much it for this boss fight. Considering we haven't had one in a while that was really all that challenging, you know, that's 3 on disc 2 and none of them really all that difficult. Kind of would have been nice if they had given us somewhat of a difficult boss fight, but oh well. Hopefully I get some decent level up bonuses. Not that I'll be re-recording or, you know, redoing the boss fight if I don't, but crappy, decent. And I didn't get any of them. Wow. In my test runs, I've gotten 2 gold bullion and then 2 gold bullion and a gold nugget. And this time, I get none. Wow. Oh well. Anyway, I know I haven't really been talking about it a lot, but if you remember, I said earlier in the game, which is why we're running the emulator with the -R thing way back at the start. Yeah, a lot of the cutscenes do freeze. This one I remember vividly as being one that does freeze if you don't do the /R thing. And it seems to freeze all the time, I believe on Elly's face, somewhere along the lines of this scene. I'm going to be rather quiet once things actually start happening because she talks.
I guess I couldn't help you after all.
Bad lip syncing.
All I can do for you now is ease your wounds. I'm so sorry.
You.
And he dies. But yeah, that was one of the scenes I was talking about in the last episode where I was saying we'd have this great emotional scene if we had to go through the dungeon and experience all of these plot points leading up to this point. This scene as well. We're all humans. This facility was built by the Solaris Ministry, or the Gazelle Ministry. It was created to implement their no waste plan. They were to convert mutated humans into weapons to serve as tools for their ambitions. Racial purification. Now, I had a note on that. Not specifically that. The term that they've used multiple times, that anonelbe or whatever, Anonelbe. Now, that term, I didn't really talk about it at the time because I forgot I'd written down something about it, but even though they kind of said it was something about an idealized man of God or something like that in the game, the idea is it's an idealized version of humanity, and it comes from German roots. Inherited, meaning inherited from the forefathers, and it was a concept instituted by the Nazis. So you can kind of see where that reference kind of kicks in at this point. Anyway, a part of it was so that the concept anyway was so that the Nazi party could search for clues about the culture of this ancient Aryan ideal race that they aspired to. But anyway, now we kind of see that this is something where she's kind of aligned herself with something that either Sophia's done in the past, or, something that, something that just kind of agrees with the ideals that Sophia had. What does it all mean? That's how people live. Single hand cannot clap. To relieve your pain, I'll give however much of my flesh you need. Elly, I think you're a little bit crazy at this point. Don't throw away your dignity as humans. Don't let go of your human heart. Now, if you'll notice, earlier in that scene, Faye was actually standing in the bottom kind of left-ish part of the screen, and then just now he jumped out of the far right side, which is kind of weird, but oh well. Yes. Faye, you don't really understand the concept of foolish, do you? Well, I don't think that. You're trying to help people. There's nothing wrong with that. I just think you're going about it in a crazy way. It's a powerful scene. That's why I was a little quiet there. Anyway, after that we went to all the other Soylent System facilities located on the Earth. Presumably this would have led to 2 or 3 more dungeons, probably each slightly different, and freed the people, and tried to help them with treatment, and they were all kind of taken back to Nissan, so it's probably a kind of a good base of operations. Now, if you'll notice, in the war 500 years ago, the focus was around kind of Nissan and Shavat, and that's very similar to what's happened this time as well. They were all against Solaris then, and they kind of are now as well. And they were able to reconstruct some of the mildly mutated people. The others were not so lucky. Not as promising, no. trying to bring him to a form that resembled human was pretty much the best you could. If you notice down on the screen there, see next to Faye's chair, there's a very noticeably mutated person wearing clothes and not acting like a mutated person. They were no longer fought each other for survival, and they kind of, they started to get this recovery going from both physical pain. However, they don't actually mention that here. Oh, anyway, but of course there's psychological pain too, right? She's really beginning to act a lot more like Mother Sophia, isn't she? Aided their bodies, yeah. She basically cut herself to feed them blood to ease their pain. Yeah, she is basically running herself ragged and giving more than she possibly could to heal all these people. Yes. She's basically become that one. And there's an interesting scene between Elly and Margie later on in the game that's pretty cool. Now, we've seen this term, the second advent, before. Faye is the second advent of Graf, or Lacan, and now Elly is the second advent of Sophia. Not only do they both look alike, but they seem to have similar plot lines, or similar experiences. Of course, with Faye becoming Id, and Lacan becoming Graf, and they have similar power, and Elly and Sophia both have very similar kind of ideas for people and the spirituality aspect and the love for everyone kind of deal. Free from supervision of Solaris, the surface dwellers began to unite in one place, Meson. But while everything's going well, we can't have everything in the world going well. What about it? Yeah, just like last time, they're gathering in Meson. The least powerful of pretty much all the countries, I guess Lahan was part of, I think, Ave more than was anything else, or maybe it was part of Kislev. Either way, yeah, that was what they were doing. But with this the weakest country, and everyone seems to focus around there. It seems to be the religion that draws everyone to focus their energies there, or the people, either way. What exactly? Okay, here we have the Geisha key. I believe that's how you pronounce that. Now, the Geisha key is similar to the Goethe or Goetia key, which was a book used by Solomon to supposedly it dealt with things like summoning demons and controlling demons and that kind of thing. In this case, it does something a little different. Let's see what it does before I talk too much about that other part. Anyway, so this key isn't used. Cain. That's right, Cain did have different ideas than you do. Why not? Without the resurrection of God, our purpose cannot be fulfilled. Without fulfilling our purpose. You were fated to it from birth. Why haven't you realized that it does not arise from your own free will? I've heard enough. I don't think it is. Yeah, Cain's got a lot of control here. They are his subordinates. People will not perish. So yeah, I guess Cain was able to survive the destruction of whatever that was, the Solaris city there. Anyway, the initial impact of the being released from the limiters caused some momentary chaos. I wouldn't call it that, but everything slowly began to settle down, and we began to search for the Anima Relics, the catalyst to transform our gears into Omni-Gears. In the past, 10 relics have been recovered. It is said that about half of those are in the hands of the Ministry. According to Zephyr, there should be several more relics hidden in the land. Knew that Slars would most certainly be searching for them, yes. And we can't let them have those, so we might as well get ourselves more powerful in the meantime. Anyway, following information we obtained from somewhere, we headed to the ruins of what seemed to be an ancient civilization. Every ruins we go to is the result of some ancient civilization. It's kind of the basic plot line, right? Anyway, I'm just going to keep with these characters for now, just until I get in here. We have nice determined music, we're going to go do this, and then smack dab we're thrown in the middle of a dungeon. That's unfortunately how this goes. So let's get in our gears here for a moment. There is... back here, yes it is. So let's get out of the gears there. Run over here. Pick up the Starlight. Can't remember what that does off the top of my head. Get back in the gears. And I believe... yes, there's one more right here. An Ether Guard, which I don't particularly care about. And I haven't really gone through this dungeon in a while. Again, we have the blue plates there to allow... stop that. Walk in... game. Walk in front of the stupid guy. Thank you. Yeah, so we have those plates so we can change party members, which is why I didn't care. Yeah, this is Shopkeep Johnny. Merchants for generations. Wonder if this is where they got the idea for Owaka in Final Fantasy X. Either way. Anyway, he sells stuff, and we haven't really gotten a chance to do anything with our gears until now. But Weltall 2, yeah, he comes with a lot better stuff. You don't need that, but yeah. We actually can buy a new engine for him. Not that I would recommend it, but it's there. He's got one that's plenty good enough. I would get that, though, and I am going to outfit my gears, probably most of them. Well, I'll see, and I'll show you what I decided to do at the start of the next episode there. Just kind of note that I have 700,000 G at this point, or 7,100, but whatever. Yeah, pretty much that's it. There's new stuff to buy. I'll buy it off screen, and anything interesting for this stuff? A new sword. It's only 2 better, so I probably won't. And I probably won't get that either. But yeah, more stuff here. Can we buy a speed ring S? No, we can't. We can buy new armor and helmets, though, so I'll probably be doing that. Anyway, that's all for this one, and I'll see you guys with lots of new gear next time.